The US president's top strategist has lashed out at the American media again, calling it an opposition party now. He said the press in the US should be humiliated and keep its mouth shut. However, the media aren't going to comply, it seems.
A reminder that the president's top aide just told the New York Times that the press should keep its mouth shut. No.
RT's Lee Petrenka joined me a bit earlier in the studio to discuss this latest spat.
So the interview with Donald Trump's chief strategist comes out, and you turn on CNN, what you see is a title, "Journalists are under attack around the world." Your first question is, who are they talking about? And then you realize that the guys at CNN are running the crackdown on journalists in countries like Egypt back to back with Mr. Bannon's statement in the same program.
That crackdown in Turkey pushed China from the #1 position with 38 reporters in jail, followed by Egypt with Eritrea. Trump seemed to have gone out of his way to vilify the media. Has there ever been this level of hostility, this aggressive stand which has been taken by the Trump administration?
That's how bad it is. So if you thought that Donald Trump's tussle with the U.S. media will be somehow eased, maybe even a little bit after he settles into the Oval Office, no way. We can see news scuffles. Another example for you is when the president was having an exclusive chat with ABC, which really turned into a telling off when Mr. Trump told the ABC anchor, well, guys, you always seem to be interested in covering the protests against me, but when there is a gathering where there are pro-Trump people, you don't seem to be interested at all.
They say the press doesn't cover them.
I don't want to compare crowd sizes again.
No, you shouldn't. But let me just say, what they do say is that the press doesn't cover them.
There's been a lot of talk all the way along the line, but in a nutshell, what is the problem that Trump and his team have got with the mainstream media?
Donald Trump's team are saying that the U.S. media are not seeing, or maybe not willing to see, the whole picture. They are continuing to miss an entire half of the U.S. population that voted for Donald Trump and whose real, true worries and concerns they say are embedded in Donald Trump. And that brings us to more statements by Mr. Bannon.
They don't understand this country. They still do not understand why Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
So the ongoing spat between the new American president and the American media remains a reflection of a big divide within the American society. I'll tell you what, that's a big challenge for the Trump administration, and they will have to find a solution for that. But the media, on the other hand, will have to somehow find a way with Donald Trump as well.
How are they going to do that? Let's get some answers, maybe from John Gaunt, host of radio show Talk to Me. John, if you had £1 for every time somebody told you to shut up, you'd be a millionaire. It didn't shut you up, did it? Is it going to work here?
Of course not. But, I mean, it's different, isn't it? I'm in the alternative media. Donald Trump and Bannon are talking about the lamestream controlled media, the dying media of newspapers. Let's look at this in context. All of them were in bed with Hillary Clinton, not literally, but metaphorically. All of them were backing her. All of them were backing the social justice warrior view of the world. Unfortunately, the world has changed. People have rejected that kind of agenda. That's why they voted for Trump. The same as why they voted for Brexit. And Steve Bannon is right. These people still haven't realised it. The mainstream controlled media in America and in the UK haven't realised the world has changed, and they're still in their entrenched positions.
If what you're saying is true, how shocked are they going to be by the fact that Trump's now sitting in the White House and his chief strategist is coming out with this really strong criticism? Is it guns at dawn?
Sure. Well, no, it's not. The bottom line is, they haven't been on his side. For CNN to then say, hold on a minute, we're independent. No, they're not. They actually gave questions to Hillary Clinton during the debates. So what Trump is saying, with the modern world, with Twitter and Facebook, he can address people without them. He doesn't necessarily need them. He's going to utilise alternative media.
But even if
like
CNN was favouring Hillary Clinton, I mean, it was called at one point the Clinton News Network, even if it was favouring her, it denies it, but say it was, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with this? They then try to make out they're independent. The New York Times, the Washington Post, all these papers wrote against Trump. They didn't understand the movement he was creating.
So they should have come clean about it,
They didn't want him to be the Republican. Let me finish. They didn't want him to be the Republican nominee. They didn't want him then to become president. He has become these things. It's not Donald Trump who's in the wrong here. It's the mainstream media. They have been acting like an opposition. They're not a political party. They should be reporting the news, and they should be reporting both sides of the news. They all make out they're independent and free. No, they're not. They're in the pockets of the corporates, and I think Trump and Bannon are right to attack them. And I don't think it's about Trump coming back their way. I think it's about them learning the world has changed.
Yeah.
I really do.
What's going to happen now? How are they going to handle this?
Well, one of the ways he's handling it, he's moved the press corps, hasn't he, out of the White House. One of the ways he's handling it is he's letting more of the alternative media into the press room. One of the ways he's going to handle it, he's going to ask alternative media to ask the first questions. The old-style media, the idea of an oligarch owning a newspaper or owning a radio station or a TV station and demanding the political agenda is over. And Trump has just had enough of it. And I don't blame him. Whether it's the false stories about the women, the misogyny, whether it's the way they just keep misreporting him, I can understand why he's upset. Now, because they go so far, because they're so extreme, you can understand why he's reacted in this way. Yeah. But you know what? In the modern world, you don't necessarily need CNN, NBC or ABC, because he can talk directly to the American people on a $40 mobile phone. Yeah. He can go on to FaceTime Live or Twitter and talk directly to the people. And I think that's the path he'll go down. I think it's sad, but I think the American mainstream media have brought this upon themselves. And here in Britain, the BBC are just as bad.
Yeah, John, we've got to leave it there. Nice to see you, host of Radio Show Talk to Me. Thanks for making the time to be with us.
Thank you. Cheers.